Happy Sunday. How's it going? This is Andy with Axiom Capital, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick market update and my thoughts for this week. So the big picture today, or this weekend, the peace talks actually fell through in Pakistan with the VP J.D. Vance. I wanted to react to that video and tell you my thoughts. I wanted to go through our portfolio move and why I raised cash last week on the big push up, and my watch list, 3 stocks that I'm watching for the next leg down and then the next leg up. Let's check out this video real quick. How does he look? He looks pretty frustrated a little bit. These guys look
good morning, everybody. And let me say a couple of notes of appreciation. First of all, to the Prime Minister of Pakistan and to Field Marshal Munir, who were both incredible hosts. And whatever shortcomings in the negotiation, it wasn't because of the Pakistanis, who did an amazing job and really tried to help us and the Iranians bridge the gap and get to a deal. We have been at it now for 21 hours, and we've had a number of substantive discussions with the Iranians. That's the good news. The bad news is that we have not reached an agreement, and I think that's bad news for Iran much more than it's bad news for the United States of America. So we go back to the United States having not come to an agreement. We've made very clear what our...
So I'm going to stop it there. So basically no deal. That's what I thought was going to happen as well. The Strait of Hormuz, Iran's not going to let that go this easily after being bombed into submission and with all the tweets going out. I don't think it's going to be that easy for us, unfortunately. And we saw the market push up basically all last week. We had these huge candles. This is the NQ Nasdaq 100 here, futures. Look at this giant green candles here from the low, right? So I was expecting that there would be a push down, basically, a straight flush, and we did see that. But we are recovering a little bit, which I'm actually surprised on. So market is hoping that there is going to be some resolved disputes. I don't know. I think I have a different theory. So I think market makers are not positioned short yet, so they will try to bring it up and then smack it back down hard on us. I remember I was traveling to Atlanta when this war struck out. I believe or I believe it was like March 5th or something like that when it first started. The market was actually up huge on the news, and then the rest of the week it just kind of sold down hard. So I'm expecting something similar. In addition, if we just look at the QQQ, which is the options on this, and also the ETF on this, we see that there is a big gap right here. I'm expecting this is going to fill. So I'm expecting us to go down here, retest that gap, and then come back up. So at least down to here. I don't think we'll make another low. I think we see the lows already. So yeah, let's get into the rest of the stuff that I wanted to cover. Covered that. We talked about headline risk. We talked about the breakdown, market impact, moving on to a risk-off stance, which we're seeing this Sunday in futures. We discussed the video highlights. So these are some stuff that I trimmed. So ASML, they have a global monopoly. They make these giant $400 million machines. They use special light to etch tiny patterns onto computer chips. And so all their customers are NVIDIA, Intel, Samsung, SY Hynix is another one, which is a South Korean memory manufacturer. So they actually paid $60 million more to get their machine early. There's a wait list for this, and they paid $60 million to jump the line. So you can just tell how ingrained these companies are into this space. They're basically a monopoly. No one can copy these machines. I was up 100% since last year. I trimmed about 25% of my position this week. Another one is LSRCY. This is a company based in Japan. They actually make components for ASML as well, and they have these microscopes that act like high-tech magnifying glass to check microtips for any mistakes so they don't break. When you're doing stuff this small, even the little tiny stuff as small as fractions of a hair can make a difference, and they have their own machines as well. So I was up 100% on this position. Since January, I trimmed about 80% because I believe it's overvalued. I'm going to look for better pricing to kind of add in later on. Another company I trimmed was Comfort Systems USA. This company is kind of funny because they used to repair home HVAC systems, I believe, and commercial HVAC systems. So basically AC systems. And they got into the AI space. So they transitioned completely into making cooling systems for AI data centers. I'm up over a 400% on this position since Liberation Day from last year, or Retardation Day, however you want to call it. And I decided to trim the position. So basically, if a stock runs up too much, I try to make a double in 5 years. And so if it's giving me 4 years worth of returns or more, I want to trim the position or get out of it and look for something better. So I can maintain that return. The other company that I have is GTT. This is actually a French company. They make cryogenic chambers for liquefied gas. So basically, these ships have these huge domes, and inside the domes are these chambers that have a certain temperature this gas has to maintain to liquefy. And they actually have a monopoly, 95% monopoly in this. I'm up 30% since last year, and I trimmed it by 25%. Another company that I trimmed this week was Comstock Holdings. I've held this since, I believe, last year. It's a microcap. They're actually a real estate development company in the East Coast, in the Maryland, Virginia, and DC area. I sold 100% of this position as it rolled up, as it went through real fast. I was up 50% since last year. So back to some macro stuff. This was kind of funny. I actually predicted this. So I was watching a lot of geopolitical news, and I thought this would be the next thing that we would have to do. If the talks fell through, which they did in Pakistan, I thought the best thing to do would be to blockade the Strait of Hormuz from this side, and actually posted this on my Instagram. So basically put a bunch of American tankers here and don't let any of the Iranian ships come through if they're not letting USA friendly ships come through or charging a toll. And that's exactly what Trump thought of and posted this morning. Whether it's good or bad, it remains to be seen. It is going to spike oil more. It is going to make more uncertainty, but it's going to make Iran come to a deal. I believe, in my opinion, they make about $1 billion every week, every 7 days on exporting oil at today's oil prices. I don't think they can last if you're cutting off $1 billion in revenue for the regime. There's no way to export it here. Mostly all of their oil is going to China, India, and Pakistan. The only thing is then you would escalate things with China, which could either be good or bad because it would make China want to make a deal. I don't think China would want to fight us. So it is going to be elevated for a while. That's why I'm expecting more downside in the market. But that remains to be seen. Let's see if there's another taco. Okay, let's check out my watch list. I'm looking at these 3 stocks, AVGO/Broadcom. So basically they make specialized AI chips for the hyperscalers like Google, like Amazon, the Trainium chips, and Meta. They're all based on AVGO's architecture. And they're trying to get away from NVIDIA. So it's basically a cheaper NVIDIA form that's basically based for AI servers and AI workloads. I believe there's more room to run, but I'm waiting for a better price to buy this at. Robinhood, we've all heard of this, a popular app. You can buy Bitcoin, you can buy stocks, you can buy futures. It's big with Gen Z and millennials. They're actually moving into the credit card space with Robinhood Gold and doing banking. So I believe there's a lot of runway in this company, and I want to buy it in the 60s area. ServiceNow, consider them a smart digital assistant for big companies. They help employees come quickly, get work done via workflows, ticketing systems for customer support and automation. They're going down with the SaaS apocalypse. So basically, every company is being sold off because they think Claude and Gemini and ChatGPT are going to replace them all. I think it's overrated, and some companies will definitely lose market share, but most of the companies will stay there. I think Jensen had the best analogy. He said, "Okay, so I taught you how to make a screwdriver, or you can make your own screwdriver, and then you can make you can fix a door frame." Or do you want to use a screwdriver and learn how to make the door frame using AI, right? So no one is going to make everything up from scratch. They're going to use this stuff to make it better. Summary and conclusion. So I'm waiting for the dust to settle on the geopolitical headlines. I'm waiting for the right price to watch the dip on my watch list stocks that I mentioned. One of the disclaimers is this is not financial advice, obviously, and I'll discuss everything in my Patreon and Discord. So if you'd like to learn more, you can join it. Free for 7 days. We discuss everything from charting to geopolitics to futures and mostly long-term investments. You have my whole guides and everything. All right, thanks. I'll see you there.